Hi, the date is June 27th, 2026, and I want to talk a little bit about how I almost fumbled a date. So, I booked the second date, had a great first date, then booked the second date. When I left that date, she was happy. It sounds like she had a really good time. I had an amazing time. So, the ball was rolling. Things were going great. But I want to talk about how I almost just messed it up. I'm going to save it, but I made a mistake, whereas I am very emotional and caring. So to make this date work and not fail like other things have failed in the past, I tried to disconnect myself from the outcome and just tried to have a good time and not put any pressure on it. And then what happened was we scheduled the next date. It was a week and a half away, so I was like, hey, I want to see you sooner in a funny way. And then she suggested a day earlier. I was thinking a bit sooner. I didn't say that, but I was like, her schedule's probably full. It's okay. And then she pushed the date another week. So I'm sitting here like, this is a really long time between the first date and the second date. And it was a little bit annoying to me. She was like, hey, something came up, or I'm really busy this week. Could we push it to next week? And so I was like, yeah, that's no worries. Um, but like in that situation, I have the feeling I wouldn't say I feel hurt, but I feel like I want to see her earlier than that. And then I am a little bit annoyed that she scheduled our next visit so far away. But then I realize it's not fair for me to be annoyed at all, because she she doesn't know that I want to see her so soon, or that I want, or that I'm not expecting such a high quality date as much as just being around her. So originally the issue was I was putting too much pressure on myself. So what I did is I disconnected from the outcome of the date, just tried to have a good time, and it actually made the date go well. And then I was like, I don't want to put any pressure on this potential relationship, because in the past that has blown it up for me. But then I mixed that up with not caring, because there's a difference between caring and putting pressure on a relationship, and also putting my opinion out there, which is that I want to see her earlier than that. And that's not even a negative thing. And then, I've had times where I've overshared emotions, and that's been a little bit of a kind of push away for people. But this isn't one of those times, and I can communicate that I want to see her again without actually putting pressure on the relationship. Like, hey, when can I see you next? Or hey, it's been a while, like, really hoping to see you, or so, I don't know, like something like that, something a bit smoother and a bit more, like I really like you in a kind of way. And yeah, and so I want, because I talked about in other videos about dating, how a really good way to have a good date is just to focus on having a good time and taking the pressure off. But then I realized that could be miscommunicated as making sure there's no pressure on it, and like not talk about your feelings at all or anything like that. When you can communicate, you can communicate how you feel, you can communicate these things. It's just about communicating them in the right way, which is where I was mixed up on. And especially in the past, where I've overshared how I'm feeling and not communicated it in the right way, where it's messed stuff up. So if someone, like anyone who's watching this who has also done that in the past, it's not it's not about what you're communicating, it's about how you communicate it. And I guess you could say it is about what you're communicating, because I could communicate that I'm like annoyed that she hasn't scheduled something, but that's not the reason I'm annoyed. Or that's not the core reason of why I'm wanting to communicate. I haven't seen her in a long time, so I'm upset. Or I wouldn't say upset, but I'm bothered. And so it's kind of like that perspective shift. Like, oh, it's her fault. Oh, it's someone's fault. And this is making me annoyed, or this is a feeling, so I'm going to interpret it in a sweet way. And I think that can kind of translate to a lot of different things in relationships. But I know this is a very small thing for a whole video, but I wanted to document my dating process, and I finally made it to the second date, and then it gets canceled, and I get into a pity party. But we're back on, and I'm gonna message her saying, hey, I want to see you again. And I was in the mindset of, clearly she might not have her schedule together, or she doesn't care that much, she's not prioritizing me. But those are all crazy assumptions when I haven't even made my intentions clear. I can't expect that of her when I haven't made my intentions clear. And I went in with the mindset of, I guess it's gonna, if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I prolonged that process of it either working out or not by being like bothered by this, because I wasn't reaching out to her, and she wasn't really reaching out to me, and it prolonged that period as well, as where I could have just messaged her that, like, hey, when can I see you next? Or that's a while away. Like, kind of share it in a light way, and then it either works out or it doesn't. And then I can either move on, or it can strengthen our relationship, because it sets that understanding that, I really like her and I want to see her again. But yeah, definitely a big part of my dating experience. Definitely a big lesson to learn, that it is okay to share your feelings, and it's about what those feelings mean, and it's about how you share them. But yeah, so that's the update with my dating life. I still haven't actually made it to the second date, just scheduled it, and then it got kind of canceled, so I'm gonna have to reschedule it. So hopefully I can keep the title of the video called I Made It to the Second Date, or that would be really sad having to change that title. But fingers crossed I can fix this, and if I don't, then I can move on, because I did kiss her, so I am going exclusive with her, which means I'm not going on dates with other girls. So, if we match up and it all goes well, possibly a relationship. If it doesn't, it is what it is, and I can move on. But she seems really cool. I really hope it works out. Fingers crossed. But yeah, that's all for this video. That's the end of the video. Thanks for watching.